You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
The patrons of the 14th Regional Investment and Capital Market Conference have gotten the opportunity to sit back a little and unwind as the annual networking session takes place. Business Access TV is here to bring you some of the highlights.
I just want to take this time out to introduce our managing director, Mrs. Street Forest, the lovely. She's going to come forward and give us just a few words on what has been happening, and of course to continue to, tell us that we need to enjoy ourselves tonight, because yes, we're talking business, we're talking about investment, we're talking about building a better nation, a better region, a better world. But Mrs. Street Forest, please come and grace the microphone. Thank you, ma'am. Looking lovely as usual. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Let me extend a warm welcome to you again at this function. I am really going to be very short, because what I want to really do is to thank you all for coming out. Thank you for supporting us for the last 14 years. There are persons here who are new to the event, some who have been with us for the last 14 years. I cannot stop by. I have to continue to thank our sponsors, our participants, and all the persons who have made this possible for us. As the evening wears on, I just want you to enjoy yourself, let your hair down, and ensure that we do what we need to do in terms of networking, meeting new people from all over the globe, and just enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Well, my name is Orlando Soto. I'm the CEO of Acobo Broker Dealer from Costa Rica. We're looking to list a mutual fund, real estate, in the Jamaican Stock Exchange. This is my first time at this event. I really congratulate you guys for the 15th anniversary, and also for the spirit that the event has over people, over companies that wanted to be listed on the exchange. And in general, to the CEO, she's wonderful. I think you have a gold mine in Jamaica, and for many years to come, and good progress to Jamaican companies.
So separate and apart from the Jamaican market being the best stock market in the world, what led you to thinking about listing in Jamaica?
Well, besides that, Jamaican broker dealers, good partnerships with them. They're good people, very sophisticated. I found very good partners. Very interesting market, not only because of the market, but also because of the people.
Which stock exchange is the best performing stock exchange for 2018?
Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Is she correct? Oh my goodness, you are correct. We have to thank every single member of the stock exchange because we could not do it without you. Thanks for being the best performing stock exchange in the world.
So how was 2018 for your business?
Well, 2018 for my business was good. We decided to come to Jamaica because Jamaica imports about $1 billion a year in produce to service their resort community. I live in Las Vegas. Las Vegas imports about $2 billion a year of produce from California and Mexico. So we decided to come down here and grow produce and service the resort community. The investment conference has been great. Met a lot of people that I already have known, and then was able to meet some people that I hadn't known. So it's been very, very beneficial.
Is it your first year here?
No, I've lived between Montego Bay and Kingston for about 7 years, and moved back to the States in 2004, and I'm back now.
So what can we expect from your business for 2019?
You can expect us to launch in 2019 and grow produce, supply resorts, and expand and continue to grow.
Bullseye for Eyes Summer Sale. Try your luck at the Bullseye and get up to 40% off your frames. Land on the Bullseye and your eyeglasses are completely free. This summer, July 15th to August 31st, everyone is a winner at Island Eyewear. Conditions apply. Call 630-1180 or visit islandeyewear.com. Island Eyewear. Your price, your style.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Dancers Philip good than another. If you fight that, me picking out a feather. Don't bad mind, my brother, when him a go the leather. Money man up, go get the cheddar. If you not like that, hold them there, hold them there, hold them there. Hold them there, pull it up.
How have you been enjoying this evening's proceedings?
God, it has been fabulous. I've been having some wonderful opportunities to network. Just congratulating Mrs. Marlene Street Forrest on the amazing job that she's been doing with the Jamaica Stock Exchange, how she's effectively led the team, you know, just pulling out the best out of the people that she has around her, and how she's been, you know, managed to keep the stock exchange on top, and just getting to know some other persons, some other players in the market, like Carlos from NASDAQ, and many other persons are here tonight.
So have you been at the conference overall?
Oh yes, I came here yesterday. I was here all day today, and tomorrow I'll be on. I'll be speaking in the afternoon, and I'll be here all day as well. It's a staple event for me. Like every year, I look forward to it. I mean, of the 14 years, I think I may have done 10 out of the 14 years. Yeah.
So you can basically say that this is certainly something that you have done in your calendar for every year.
Oh, absolutely, definitely. It has to be. Like, it's one of those events that get you started for the year. And you get to meet some of the people that you will need to help you to win all the plans that you have. So you identify all the persons who are there and say, yeah, you know what? Let's partner, let's connect. So yeah.
Do you have a business?
Oh yes. So my original business is Pato Apparel, but I have formed out since then the Entrepreneurial You, which is a leadership and entrepreneurial brand. So we have a podcast, the Entrepreneurial You podcast, where I interview people like Seth Godin, Richard Branson, and so much more. And then there's LeaderCast, LeaderCast Kingston, LeaderCast Women, and LeaderCast Kingston is happening May 10 this year. So look out for it.
Alright, so tell us, how have you been enjoying this evening's function?
It has been absolutely amazing. The vibe is nice, the food is good, and just to be at a function where it's rigorous, it's talking about figures all day, but just to let your hair down and just enjoy yourself and interact with the visitors from all over the world that's here to experience the stock exchange function this year.
Is it your first year here?
Yes, it's my first year, and I'm having a great time.
What brought you here?
Well, I wanted to see the launch of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange because as an entrepreneur in the social enterprise space, it has been long anticipated and long thought for to see a social stock exchange. And I have friends like DEFCON and Alpha who were part of that, so I really wanted to see the launch.
Certainly a good opportunity for social projects to get funding, and is funding an issue for social projects generally in Jamaica?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I just wanted to note that in terms of the understanding of what social enterprise is, there has been a lacking because social enterprise, they don't only serve a social cause, but they're also enterprising, as the term says. So they make their own money, and when funds are invested in social enterprises, it's to make further social impact and to find other ways to be enterprising and make more money. So it's amazing that Jamaica has woken up and have smelled the coffee, because there are social stock exchanges in other parts of the world. And I think with this focus, then we can look at being number one more year. So just like 2015 and now 2018, and now we're looking at social value. So I think we have woken up, we have smelled the coffee, and the best is yet to come for the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
The sunshine when I look at you, just a thing I can't explain, just the things that you do. And if you get lonely, just call me and take a second to give to me that magic you make every day. Love me your own special way. Melt all my heart away with a smile. Take time to tell me you really care, and we'll share tomorrows forever. I'll always love you forever.
How are you going with all of that? You're moving?
No. I'm a passport, but come for renewing, you know. But you want me to show me no in that place full of crowd and the long line that take you all day. Make sure you walk with some food. And
no, man, things improve, man. Them have a lot of drop box where you can use inside. They finish in no time.
Yeah,
man, them are done.
Yeah. Want some food, man? Try this. Dropbox.
Transformation is happening across the public sector. Many services are now available online. We are building a better public service for all. Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Okay, what year did the Jamaica Pegasus first host the conference? That is the investment conference. You tell me.
I'm going to go with 2010.
You are absolutely right. Please to take this box from my hand because it's so heavy. On a clapping.
Also with me is a good friend of mine, Kamario Davis. How are you, sir?
I am good. How's it going?
It's been going well for me, but how's it been going for you? You're enjoying this evening's function?
I am. It's really good. You know, anything Jamaican is always enjoyable. I just said it's really enjoyable. I mean, really enjoy myself tonight.
What does Jamaica being the best stock market mean to you?
It means investment. It means more money in pocket for me. It means more money in pocket for the Jamaican people.
But as a young person though, do you think young people generally should be concerned about stocks and stock market performance and that kind of thing? Is that important?
In all honesty, I do think that they need to play a part in stock exchange because it is highly important as it relates to you creating a job for yourself. So generating income as a young person is very important. And so I think that young people really need to focus on the stock market to make some money.
Especially being that the youth unemployment rate is, though it's trending downward, it's still particularly high. So it's something that you think they should definitely look into, correct?
Most definitely, most definitely. We always want to venture into the traditional careers. We want to be doctors, lawyers, teachers, whatever that's all. But we need to start thinking about how to create employment for ourselves. Why not invest on the stock market? Why not invest into Walmart? Why not invest in Jamaica Boilers, Sagicor, whatever it is that you feel you need to invest in, it's a really good opportunity, and I think young people of Jamaica need to start focusing there.
Hey, me say me love you like a free Wi-Fi. Me and you together like a pizza and rice. Without you, me can't sleep at night. Cause me fi be your husband, you fi be my wife. Boy, me say me love you like a free Wi-Fi. Me and you together like a pizza and rice. Boy, without you, me can't sleep at night. Promise you would I never leave my side. Me no need no password to get no access. Anytime you come around, instantly you connect like Wi-Fi pan. One of me gadget and you full of energy like a Magnum tonic wine. Me fascinated by everything you do. Looking at me future, girl, let me see you too. To the altar, me ready figure bring you go. The ratings you're taller than a pinnacle.
So, Mrs. Street Forest, 14 years of celebration of knowledge exchange. How has it been for you this year?
It has been fantastic. You recognize that it has been really wonderful with the participants, the sponsors, and really those persons who have presented. We've had all the prime ministers of Barbados, prime ministers of Jamaica, past prime ministers, and they have given us quite a bit to think about. And what they have also given us is some amount of ingredients to go forward and do better. So I think that now we are poised to put in the necessary provisions in order to grow the capital market further than it is.
Historic launch this year, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange. Tell us about how the environment is feeling about that, how persons are reacting to that.
Persons are reacting positively to it. Persons who want to give have called. Persons who want to list projects have also called. It has been so positive. Persons have asked exactly what this is, and we are going to have to explain it and explain it again. But we have no problem with that because we know that the social stock exchange will contribute to the growth and development of the third sector, the social sector. And we know that this growth is going to be positive for the entire Jamaica.
So finally, what can we expect for the 15th staging?
Well, the 15th staging, we should really allow the 14th to be finished. But we know that the 15th staging each year, we get better and better. And the 15th staging, we want to embrace more of the region. We want to embrace more of the world. And definitely, as we do with each year, we say what has been achieved from the past. And naturally, for the 15th staging, we will want to report back to you to say, look, we have gained and garnered this amount of funds for the social exchange, and this is what it has done for Jamaica. So we want to report back to you the success that we have had for the 14th.
Certainly looking forward to it, and we hope that then Jamaica will still be the top stock exchange in the world. Thank you so much, Mrs. Street Forest.
You're most welcome.
We've come to the end of the 14th staging of the Regional Investment and Market Capital Conference's networking session. I'm Javon Keys for Business Access TV, serious about business.
I wanted to be an educator because I believe that education is the most powerful weapon that can change the world.
My dreams and aspiration is to one day become an entrepreneur where I can employ other persons and help to build the country.
I wanted to go into development. I wanted to help people become better versions of themselves. Growing up, I saw a lot of violence, I saw a lot of crime, I saw a lot of poverty. The challenges are so many. The first one that comes to mind is the level of youth unemployment that's here.
Challenges that exist here in West Prospect Bogwalk are lack of awareness for educational opportunities or job opportunities.
Not many got the chance to do CXC or graduate from the secondary level. So that's a major setback for the people living in the community.
A way to alleviate this issue is training programs. They need more opportunities, like to go back to school to get themselves a certificate so they can be able to work and create employment for themselves and their family.
push more entrepreneurship opportunity, encourage these youths to be creative and innovative in what they do, give them startup capital to start their business, invest more in the youth skills and talents.
The Poverty Reduction Program is funded by the European Union, and it really is a program that focuses on the most vulnerable type of communities, making communities safer, making citizens more healthy, better access to education.
For European Union, investing in youth is an obvious choice. They are the future of the country. If we prepare them well, they will bring the change that Jamaica needs. That's why we invest in scholarships, internship, training in life skills and mentorship.
I received a tertiary scholarship from PRP to attend the University of Technology, Jamaica. It meant a lot to me because I realized that somebody else believed in me and somebody saw the potential that I have and somebody believed that I could actually achieve my goals.
I benefited by getting firstly an internship, and also they assisted my bachelor's degree financially. But critically, outside of the finances, the persons that were on the project, the motivation that they provided, etc., it really provided a huge boost.
This is my third year at the MICO. This scholarship, it helped me to be able to focus only on my education here, because tertiary education is not cheap.
I was placed at ODPEM on the one-year internship program. It was really good. It was an opportunity for me to prove myself, to give myself a service, and also to gain experience in the working world, and to also provide for my family.
I plan to be an agent of change in my community by being a mentor, a leader, and a godfather for the youths growing up. Try to help them teach them a trade.
You don't have to be rich to help. You don't have to achieve greatness to start. I contributed to my basic school by providing them with the necessary resources that they need, that I believe that in the long run it will have a ripple effect on many, many persons.
Professionally, I manage the whole program, which is aimed at giving young persons the opportunity to, do what I did, basically, to get their foot inside an organization. Additionally, I also have a little small business that I try to employ young persons to learn a skill, etc.
When you're persistent in life, when you're determined, when you're hungry for success, then you'll be able to accomplish and achieve anything that you want.
It has changed hundreds and hundreds of lives. Not just my life, my family lives, my friends' lives, etc. I want to just urge everyone looking on to continue these social programs. These are the solutions to the many ills that we face as a society and as a country and even as a world. So thank you, and I challenge you, continue it. It's needed.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Violence is bad. Violence against our innocent little children is terrible. Pretending not to notice when we know or suspect that a child is suffering is awful and morally wrong. In the words of the great Nelson Mandela, there can be no keener realization of a nation's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Think about that for a second. I have a voice. It's one of my gifts. I intend to use it on behalf of our children. No more violence against our children. Make your move to stop violence against our children right now. No more. No more. No more.
It's the final Wednesday of a month that reminds us of the strength of many of our Jamaicans, those involved in the walk to freedom, or even those who fought and fight for our country to be the place of choice. Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, and welcome to Your Jamaica Magazine. As we close off the month, today we'll share with you some more Jamaicans continuing the fight for a better life. There are also those pushing forward on a sustainable path to a new Jamaica. All that and more unfolding inside this edition of Jamaica Magazine.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, August 28. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has inspected and/or fogged 552 schools in anticipation of the start of the new academic year.
That process is ongoing and will continue through the first few weeks of school to ensure that our children are protected in that environment.
The Health and Wellness Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, was addressing his ministry's quarterly press briefing on Tuesday. The ongoing exercise is part of the ministry's efforts to contain the regional outbreak of dengue. Data from the ministry reveal that there have been 5,200 suspected, presumed, or confirmed cases of dengue, with over 4,000 cases having onset dates in 2019. Dr. Tufton says the ministry's sustained mosquito control program continues. A $130 million program involving the National Solid Waste Management Authority and the parish municipal corporations is operational. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has meanwhile increased its use of the Public Health Act to issue citations to persons who facilitate mosquito breeding sites around their homes. And 1,200 temporary and permanent vector aids have been deployed across the island, with particular focus on high-risk communities.
I'm going to ask the public to invite and support these persons when they visit their communities. They should be readily identified with IDs, with a vest that says who they are, very visible. And we need them to be out there to support the efforts of the public.
In the meantime, Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson says plans are being put in place to keep traffic flowing smoothly for the start of the new school year. The Commissioner gave the update at the first meeting of the Cabinet after the summer recess on Monday. Cabinet members also discussed the importance of equal and consistent enforcement of the road traffic laws following a highly publicized stunt driving incident. They expressed concerns about public confidence in the system of law enforcement, as well as the maintenance of public order and discipline on the roads. The Cabinet reminded the Jamaica Constabulary Force of the critical importance of enforcing the traffic laws in the context of the government's zero-tolerance policy. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says he will be having a similar meeting with the National Works Agency. That meeting will discuss any coordination that may be required for the effective and efficient flow of traffic on roads where construction works are underway. Still on the roads, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has confirmed that he has no plans to close down the National Works Agency, NWA. Following a news item which said there would be major changes in the structure of the NWA, Prime Minister Holness sought to clarify that report. He said the NWA had been instructed to improve its service delivery to meet the increasing number of road infrastructure projects that are underway or will be started shortly. That means the Works Agency will have to step up its supervision of contractors who are hired to carry out road construction works across the island.
We can't close down the NWA, but we can change how the NWA operates. And I'm going to spend quite a bit of my time in ensuring that, especially with this new project heading towards the east, that it is done properly.
Prime Minister Holness was speaking Monday as he signed a contract for Phase 1 of the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project targeting eastern Jamaica. The works, to cost $195 million, will cover roads between Harborview in St. Andrew to Port Antonio in Portland. Starting today, the Bank of Jamaica has reduced its policy interest rate on deposit-taking institutions' overnight placements by 25 basis points to 0.5%. The central bank says the move is intended to stimulate faster expansion in private sector credit, which is expected to spur higher economic activity consistent with the inflation target. The Bank of Jamaica says the decision reflects its assessment that inflation is projected to average 4.3% over the next 8 quarters. While this is within the 4 to 6% target range, without the intervention, inflation is likely to fall below the target's lower limit at various points over the period. In a statement Tuesday, the BOJ said that over the medium term, the forecast was for inflation to gradually approach the midpoint of the target, albeit at a slower pace than previously expected. The bank also asserts that the inflation forecast is mainly predicted on the continued impact of low domestic demand conditions relative to the economy's capacity, slower growth among Jamaica's main trading partners, and a decline in international commodity prices. The impact on electricity rates from imminent changes in the fuel mix in the domestic energy sector is also factored into the BOJ's decision. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Here's a common occurrence in far too many Jamaican homes: teenage pregnancy. And here's just one part of government's response to those who face the challenges of teenage pregnancy.
At the age of 14 years old, I found out that I was pregnant. It was a very devastating experience.
I didn't have anyone. Everyone was just looking down at me. And I really thought that it was the end, you know?
Just like these two, teenage pregnancy often seems to signal a daunting battle for many girls in Jamaica. But that frightening vision is becoming less and less of a reality, thanks to the efforts of the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation.
I applaud your selfless service. What started off 40 years ago as a response to the high level of teenage pregnancies has become a national program with 10 different centers offering quality education.
That applause from the wife of the President of Kenya, the Honorable Margaret Kenyatta, came in early August on an official visit to Jamaica. Under the banner of the Ministry of Gender, the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation has served approximately 46,000 adolescent mothers in 4 critical areas: academics, which includes education and skills training; outreach for those who cannot access the main centers; adolescent mother health, where they provide health services for beneficiaries; and counseling on family life education. But that's not all.
The Women's Center program for teenage mothers began with 6 clients right here. And in 40 years, the program has served more than 46,000 adolescent mothers and has expanded to include 7 main centers and 11 outreach stations across the island.
Kinshasa Johnson, and I'm a past student of the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation. At the age of 14 years old, I found out that I was pregnant. It was a very devastating experience at that very moment. I had to come to terms with the fact that I was not only a child anymore, but I was going to become a parent. Now, at that very moment, I signed up to become a student at the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation. I started attending the center when I was 14 years old, and At that time, they had a bus fare program here. So young ladies who weren't financially able to find money to come to school every day, we would be granted a bus fare to come to school the following morning. So I had my baby and I was home for approximately a month, and I came back to school because I had the grade 9 achievement test. Now, hearing that I passed for a traditional high school was a bittersweet moment because I didn't have it financially, so even though I was very close to my dream, it seemed very much far. And it was at that very moment that the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation decided to assist me financially to go back to school. The center opened many, many doors for me, and one of those doors was to be a child delegate at the it was the Child Development Agency at that time. It's now the Child Family and Protection Services. And I was a child delegate where we assisted the CEO and the executive management team by telling them about matters that affect children. And it was there that I started working as a summer worker. And so I say this to say that we were young, and I don't view it as a mistake. It's a part of our journey, and it is a part of our lesson, because today I can say that I have become a totally different person because of my son, because I know that I have to pave a path for him that is clearer than the one that I had, and I have to assist him in every way possible. And I could not have done that without the help of the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation.
I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, and it was just so devastating. And I was just 15, and I'm saying to myself, how am I going to maintain myself? How am I going to maintain a baby? So when I got here, I met some really amazing people who inspired me so much. At that point, I didn't want to hurt myself anymore, and for the first time in a long while, I started to smile. And I went home and I started writing in my journal, and I said to myself, I can make it. I'm gonna make it out of this.
So let me congratulate all you girls for your unyielding resilience and courage, for taking on the responsibilities of being young mothers, yet recognizing the importance of education in unlocking your future, for refusing to be left behind.
40 years ago, teenage pregnancy meant a dead end for many young girls. It was the guarantee of a future of misery, a life of poverty, exclusion, and dependence. The pregnant teenager's education would come to an end, and her job prospects would disappear. That was before the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation was established.
Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, celebrating over 20 years of investment in community development. JSIF has forged relationships with international funding partners as well as private and public sector entities. Let us continue to invest to reduce vulnerabilities. Let us build our social capital and resilient infrastructures to ensure full participation in Vision 2030. JSIF, investing for community development.
Even at the government level, the push for a better Jamaica is very much evident. With that, let's see the plans and programs of the Investment and Environment sections in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation for 2019-2020.
The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation in financial year 2019-2020 has unveiled an ambitious plan to create a new Jamaica. That means removing all impediments to growth, whether environmental or man-made. Here are some of those plans from Minister without Portfolio, Darrell Vaz.
Climate Change Division of my ministry has been proactive in ensuring that we take the necessary and concrete steps to make the island climate resilient.
A drought alleviation plan is being prepared for Cabinet. $613,000 has been drawn down from the Green Climate Fund for forest management. 65,000 gallons of water storage capacity is being provided to farmers, and a $6 million project to reduce land degradation in the cockpit country is underway.
It is our intention to place greater focus on pollution control in the financial year.
In addition to 2019's ban on certain categories of plastics and styrofoam containers, a deposit refund scheme for plastic drinking bottles will be fully rolled out by February 2020. An agreement was also reached with Carib Cement to undertake a pilot project to remove tires from the Riverton City landfill.
We are creating a sustainable path for a new Jamaica.
To ensure that the necessary legislation is in place to protect the environment, the ministry secured Cabinet's approval of the National Policy on Environmental Management Systems. A draft beach access and management policy is also being prepared. And amendments are being made to the Forest Act, the Natural Resources Conservation Authority Act, Endangered Species Act, and the Wildlife Protection Act.
The ministry will be undertaking public consultations on the National Hazardous Waste Management Policy Green Paper, and I would like to invite the public to attend and actively participate in those consultations. Land use planning and management are very important for the country to achieve its long-term economic, environmental, and social goals.
A construction industry policy has been developed to encourage the use of environmentally friendly resources while limiting environmental impact. The revised rainwater harvesting planning policy guideline has been completed. This will be issued to local planning authorities as a condition of approval for all new commercial and residential buildings.
No one is more pleased than I am that the idea of promoting sustainable and green building concepts have taken a front line in the real estate industry.
Work continues apace to utilize electronic titling to reduce processing times for documents. That will be strengthened with the draft electronic titling bill to be finalized by year's end.
We are working to issue 4,000 titles between April 1st, 2019 and March 31st, 2020, subject to the passing of the legislative amendments to introduce systemic titling.
The National Land Agency will also benefit from a transformation of its business processes through the development of the e-land titling platform. Jamaica's National Spatial Planning Framework is to be completed by December. The entire island is now covered by development orders. A review of population densities and heights in urban areas is being undertaken. And a Negril Master Plan is being prepared in partnership with the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA.
The vision would enable a part of Negril to compete with other jurisdictions in the area, other destinations in the area, in the region, while better managing the national resources of the area.
The National Water Commission is also working on 4 projects in the area to resolve water-related development challenges.
Jamaica's objective is to be a jurisdiction that offers high-value business services to support local and international business.
The National Competitive Council has removed 16 export licenses for several items, including pimento and bauxite, significantly reducing time and cost of exporting the items.
By the end of this calendar year, we will implement the Port Community System, Truck Appointment System, Exports, and Airport.
This will reduce the number of days required to move cargo and other items from the ports. Meanwhile, the electronic business registration form, which took effect in August, makes it possible to reserve and register a company name online within a day.
Upon the revision of the Companies Act, the Companies Office will also have revised the archaic naming rules so that only the use of identical names will be the basis for rejection of a proposed company.
The pilot single electronic window platform will be rolled out soon and made available to clients, starting with the Trade Board Limited.
Targeting the motor vehicles in particular, companies will be able to submit their application online and use the web-based platform to track the progress.
The Special Economic Zone Authority is in the final phase of receiving and reviewing transition applications for regularizing free zones. On the investment side of things, the bidding process for the Caymanas Special Economic Zone is to be launched shortly. Ground is to be broken next year for the integrated Hard Rock Casino, Hard Rock Hotel, and Unico Hotel along the Elegant Corridor in St. James. A $14 million maritime-based industrial zone dubbed the Kingston Logistics Parks is in the works. Ground is to break on the $75 million Nago Head Tech Park. Preparatory works continue apace on the $1.7 billion Vernon Field Aerotropolis project, and private investment is being sought for the development of the Jamaica Solid Waste Management Public-Private Partnership transaction. In all, $1.7 billion has been pumped into the economy over 2009 to 2019. And more funds are expected to be garnered with the planned divestment of the Jamaica Mortgage Bank and government shares in the Jamaica Public Service Company. Projects are also being undertaken at the Rio Cobre Water Treatment Plant and the National Education Trust.
For this fiscal year, DBJ is projecting a total loan value of $6.7 billion, with total investments projected to be $13.48 billion.
Micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises have also benefited from the Development Bank of Jamaica's capacity building programs. The agency has been creating new initiatives to support the sector.
We are again creating a sustainable path for the new Jamaica.
Now here's another initiative by our government to help our citizens. This time is the drive to end gender-based violence. Take a look.
It is no secret. Jamaica experiences reports of domestic violence.
Sometimes he beat me in front of the picnic them.
There is no excuse for abuse, and the government has implemented a plan with the hope of beating domestic violence out of the country. The data on gender-based violence says much. In Jamaica, 1 in every 4 women is abused. Globally, 1 in every 3 women is a victim. Coupled with that, domestic violence has no regard for age or status. Men are also victims, so too girls as young as age 15, who are being physically, sexually, and emotionally abused in intimate partner relationships. With year-on occurrences of all forms of gender-based violence, the government has been courting several plans to eliminate the act. Finally, a perfect relationship has been formed and has given birth to a 10-year plan for ending this cowardly act. The National Strategic Action Plan to Eliminate Gender-Based Violence in Jamaica, NSAP-GBV for short.
The period is 2017 to 2027, 2017 to 2027. And that plan is predicated on the due diligence framework, which allows us to have 5 strategic priority areas. The first one is prevention. How do we engage key stakeholders so that they become a part of the solution and not a part of the problem?
A major component of the prevention strategic area is the implementation of a No Excuse for Abuse social media-driven campaign.
We are very fortunate to have been blessed with a 3-year MOU through our partner, UN Women, that will allow us to do a 6-month campaign. We think that this campaign should make a huge difference, and we plan to have it rolled out in a very robust manner across communities and engaging different players at different times. The second strategic priority area is protection. That looks at how do we ensure that once the person becomes a victim, there is the adequate provision for shelter, there is provision for psychosocial support and rehabilitation. How do we look at the perpetrator as well?
The third priority strategic area covers the investigation, prosecution, and enforcement of court orders.
So once a person has been a victim, becomes a victim, what sort of mechanisms are in place to ensure that the victim gets redress and gets compensation if that is what is required? And if there is a protection order that is required, how do we ensure that the protection order is taken out and that it is enforced? And if there is an issue with compliance, which happens in some cases, where the perpetrator decides to violate the protection order, how do we ensure that it is enforced? And how do we ensure that the victim has protection? The fourth strategic priority area looks at compensation, reparation, and redress. How do we ensure that victims and survivors have adequate compensation for redress for wrongs that have been done? And how do we compensate? What forms of redress are appropriate? What is affordable given our limited fiscal space? The fifth and final strategic priority area is data collection and the systems by which we have a management of data. Gone are the days where persons talk from their heads about gender-based violence, because we now have a survey findings, a set of survey findings that's put together in a report. It's called the Women's Health Survey, and that survey for us is very important.
Released in 2017, the Women's Health Survey was conducted by the Inter-American Development Bank, UN Women, and the Statistical Institute of Jamaica. It provides facts, not anecdotal information, about the violence some persons face. Eliminating gender-based violence will not be a band-aid fix. With the help of local and international partners, government has crafted a research-driven program to involve major stakeholders. The goal is simple yet revolutionary: to bring an end once and for all to the scourge that has crippled families and impacted our country psychologically and financially.
We did mention that the curtains are coming to a close for the month of August, but just before it ends, here's a reminder of some important events that took place in Jamaica's history in August. Number 1. On August 1, 1834, we celebrated freedom from slavery in British colonies, mostly due to the tenacity of ancestors who demanded and fought for their freedom. Number 2. Jamaica became independent of Britain on August 6, 1962. Number 3, the bill for the abolition of slavery in the British colonies received the royal assent on August 28, 1833. Number 4, on August 6, 1977, Sir Alexander Bustamante died. He was the last surviving national hero of Jamaica. And our fifth and final point, Jamaica officially became a member of the Caribbean Free Trade Association, otherwise known as CARIFTA, on August 1, 1968. CARIFTA was later changed to CARICOM. So we see ordinary Jamaicans have always been fighting for a better tomorrow. And we're encouraging you to do whatever you can to make this island the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. And this is where your journey with us in today's Jamaica Magazine ends. But if you want a refresher of today's happenings, visit our website, that's jis.gov.jm, and be sure to keep up with the JIS team on our Facebook.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access. Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
partners all in this great, most exciting, most rewarding, and today regarded as the #1 industry in the world, tourism. It is such a joy to have you here, and that joy is being really fulfilled by the fact that we've had an exciting journey spanning just a little over 13 months, when the germination of this idea was first, to begin with, thought through in London, and started a conversation about how do we deal with global disruptions, their impact on vulnerable states that are tourism dependent in particular. And in general, is there a response? Is there a means by which information, communication, knowledge can be disseminated and dispersed on a timely, indeed in real time, in nano time, because that's the difference between life and death when these disruptions come. And so I wanted to embrace them in this inaugural event because it is out of that small step that has become what we hope to be this giant repository of knowledge, information, best practices, and huge opportunities for vulnerable states to be able to track, to identify, to manage, to recover, but most importantly, to thrive after recovery from mega global disruptions. And so I wanted also to embrace another gentleman who is in the audience and who was the Secretary General then of the United Nations World Tourism Organization, Dr. Talib Rifai, under whose leadership the celebrations and observations of the International Year of Sustainable Tourism for Development was observed. And then Jamaica was given the honor of hosting the first ever global conference on job creation and inclusive growth, a public-private partnership. And out of those 2 days of deliberations came a document which is now known globally as the Montego Bay Declaration, a 14-point document which sought to create something of a blueprint for sustainability and for the discussions that should flow from it. But it called for 3 particular deliverables. One was for the acceptance of governments across the world of the importance of small and medium tourism enterprises as a critical tool for inclusive growth and for sustainable development, particularly at the community level. And secondly, for the establishment of a global tourism resilience and crisis management center. And thirdly, to encourage governments of the world, particularly those within tourism-dependent regions, to embrace the principle of multi-destination tourism as a critical tool to drive greater efficiencies and to create economy of scale so as to enable greater level of connectivity, particularly air connectivity, between markets and destination. Today we launch the first ever global tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center. The third is a work in progress. And only this afternoon, in pursuance of that multi-destination arrangement, particularly for the countries of the Northern Caribbean, Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, Cuba, have already signed MOUs in this regard. And we had a discussion with the ambassador from Mexico earlier today about the first meeting that we propose to have in Cancun later on in this quarter. So, Mr. Cabal, I wish to report to the UNWTO, mission almost accomplished. But certainly, we are well on our way. The importance of a resilience and crisis management center cannot be overemphasized in a hyper-connected society and one in which travel and tourism has grown and expanded and has become such a global arrangement that it now exceeds in size the petroleum industry, the distributive trade, and plays only second role to financial services in terms of its contribution to global GDP. At 10.4% of global GDP, tourism stands out, providing in addition 1 in 10 jobs. And last year, 1.4 billion people traveled across the world for touristic purposes and spent a total of 7.8, rounded off $8 trillion US dollars. This is a huge industry. And we here in the Caribbean had 30 million visitors last year and earned some 32 billion US dollars. 1 in 5 jobs in the Caribbean directly related to tourism. And more than 40% of the GDP of the Caribbean is directly related to tourism. Indeed, in our own space, we are regarded as the world's most tourism-dependent region, with 13 of the top 20 countries of the world with the highest tourism dependence in relation to GDP. We are number 2 only to the Maldives, because Antigua and Barbuda is number 2. Jamaica is number 13. But the importance of this is that it brings with it a level of vulnerability. And that vulnerability has to be treated with by building a capacity to respond and to deal with it, building resilience. So whilst we speak of the importance of sustainability, maintaining the status quo, so to speak, and keeping the environment and the other critical areas intact, we have to go one step further to add value. To be able to survive is to be sustainable. To thrive is to be resilient. And so this center will focus very heavily on those critical elements that will make us thrive across the destinations of the world.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, Fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands.
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Every great nation in the world has to have two qualities to become great. They have to have pride in themselves, believe in what they are, and cultivate that pride. But they also have to have kindness, humility, and modesty combined with that. In Jamaica, Prime Minister, you always had by nature this modesty, humility, and kindness in receiving everybody. That's why you were a great tourism destination. But I believe truly, having known you, having seen this country for some years now, that you have installed the first part so amicably. The pride that Jamaicans have in themselves today is quite unique. You have a lot to do with it. You may not know this, but your name, your brand, your reputation around the world has become so amicable, has become so bright. Thanks to you, Prime Minister. Thank you for your good work. Every nation under the sun has developed new sources of energy, some solar energy, some water-driven energy. There's a special energy here in Jamaica, and it's called Edmund Bartlett. Imagine if the tourism industry was destroyed here in the Caribbean. Livelihoods of people would be destroyed, not just in the Caribbean, all over the world. We've seen incidents like this happening all over the world. That's why we care about this industry, and that's why this center is important. It's building the resilience of the nation, not building a resilience of a particular industry, as important as it may be. It all started in September of 2017 in China, in our General Assembly. If you remember Minister Bartlett, he came to whisper in my ears, what about establishing a center like this? You had just come out of one of those yearly disasters that you have so courageously accustomed to live with here. We were thinking of a Caribbean setup at the time. Then it moved to Spain, Malta, Amman, Berlin. And we have concluded it in December of 2017, here in Montego Bay, in this very same place, in announcing the creation of this center, that we want to do it. In less than 5 months, 6 months, we're doing it, my dear. 1 year of full work. Minister Bartlett, you deserve all the congratulations in the world. He asked me to become his co-chair. But I must say, there is a legitimate father to this project, and there is a stepfather. And I'm only a stepfather here. I do my best, but you are the creator of this center, and it will always bear your legacy. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for doing the good work that you're doing, Minister Bartlett. The center started with what its name is called. It's called Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center. Let's start with the last part, the crisis management, because that's what Edmund Bartlett came to talk to me in September of 2017 about. He said, it's crisis management. Then we discussed it a little bit, and we concluded that we can't just call it crisis management. It's too negative. We have to build on a positive part. So we added the term resilience. We believed in resilience is a more important element than crisis management per se. It's not the crisis. Crisis is something that is going to happen and will happen with every nation under the sun. So the name resilience was added to crisis management. Then, very shortly after this, We started to talk about the idea. Every nation under the sun came and said, we want to have something like that. So it became global. That's how the name Global Tourism Resilience Crisis Management Center came about. When it became global, we decided that this is going to be the Caribbean gift, the Jamaican gift to the world. And we decided to expand the scope of this crisis from being just about natural disasters, which the Caribbean is very well known to have experienced, into 5 basic elements of crisis and resilience. One, of course, is natural disasters. Japan, the Caribbeans are very good examples of that. Earthquakes that happened all over the world in the last 2 years are example of that. In Haiti, I know the good minister of Haiti is with us. You know how it devastated your entire lives, not just your industry. But the second most important crisis is health pandemics. What happened with our brothers and sisters in Africa as a result of Ebola, what happened in Asia as a result of SARS, has to be remembered. Resilience is about all kinds of crises. And the third is terrorism. It's a very, very important element that we have to keep in mind. We've seen countries like Egypt, like Turkey, like Tunisia, like France, suffering so much from one stupid, crazy, sick act of a person that slept at night and dreamt the next morning of becoming a hero, going to heaven in flying colors. These are elements that we have to be prepared for. The fourth element is economic downturn. We've seen what happened to Greece. We've seen what happened to Cyprus as a result of economic downturns, and every nation is likely to go and is viable to experience something like this. The fifth element is political downturn. Many countries around the world are experiencing something like this. So it's the 5 elements: natural disasters, health pandemics, terrorism, economic downturn, and political downturn. And the center will cater for all of these 5 elements. Because, my friend, anything can happen anywhere nowadays. No place under the sun can claim to be immune at all. I challenge you if you say any place can be. The functions of the center will be centered around 3 major activities. One is data collection and analysis. Historical records must be kept somewhere. We can't keep repeating the same mistakes again and again because we don't remember what happened last year. Numbers, data, research, everything has to be recorded in this center. The center will be the reference place for anything that happened in the last few decades about anything that has to do with disasters that have paralyzed our normal life. That's the first function of this center, which is data collection, research, and historical records. 2, the center will start training people how to face these crises when they happen, because they are going to happen. I tell you, if not here, somewhere else, if not one form or another form. Societies and all stakeholders have to be prepared for this. The third element is communication. It is crucial to know how to communicate after a crisis happens, because when a crisis happens, and it will happen, as I say, the time to recovery can be greatly reduced if we know how to deal with it. There are booklets and guidelines that have been developed in WTO over the years that tell you how you can better deal with the media. We don't know sometimes how to deal with the media. These are the 3 functions of the center. 1 is data collection, 2 is training, and 3 is communication skills.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
The center is going to be housed in accommodation at the regional headquarters of the University of the West Indies, and that is why I'm here. I'm here representing the Vice Chancellor, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles. Unfortunately, I had to travel. Didn't expect to travel at the time I accepted this invitation, so I'm bringing greetings to you on his behalf and on behalf of the staff and 50,000 students of the University of the West Indies. We have identified accommodation, and I have the keys to that accommodation with me, and which I will hand over to the Minister after these formalities. Now, you're probably wondering, why is it being located at the University of the West Indies? Is it just because Minister Edmund Bartlett is a graduate of the university? No, it's not. It's because of what the university has to offer. First of all, the university is a global institution based in the Caribbean region. We have 3 campuses and 20 sub-campuses throughout the Caribbean. But we also serve the Caribbean people in its global diaspora, and they're everywhere in the world. So our mission is global. But our mission is global too because since we started 7 years ago, we have always had an international staff, international student body, and thirdly, as a small country, we have to influence global affairs if we're going to develop and to progress. Indeed, this university has contributed to global debates. In fact, the university has produced 3 Nobel Prize winners, 1 in economics, 1 in literature, and 1 in climate change. Now, I want to assure all of you who don't know about the University of the West Indies that in housing the center at the University of the West Indies, you have linked with an internationally acclaimed university. The university is ranked by the Times Higher Education Ranking System as not only #1 in the Caribbean, but of the 24,000 universities in the world, the University of the West Indies is ranked in the top 5%. The university brings to the center a track record of expertise in all the critical areas which the center will be dealing with. We have long had a research center on tourism policy, and we have produced a considerable amount of policy research in that area. We are a major training institution for the security officials of this region. We offer a master's degree in security studies, which includes Minister of Cybersecurity. We have a long track record of disaster management because in this region we have been very prone to natural disasters. The university has been in the forefront of responding to that, not only crisis management, but in resilience. We also have a world-renowned medical faculty, pandemics and health. Well, we were instrumental in intervening in a number of those when they appeared in the region. Indeed, the medical faculty was the first faculty founded by the university. And lastly, we are among the leaders in climate change studies, sustainable development. All members of staff are part of the global network of officials which are drafting and implementing the Sustainable Development Goals at the multilateral level through the United Nations. So it is with great pleasure on behalf of Sir Hilary Beckles, the staff and students of the University of the West Indies, that we proudly accept and look forward to continuing to work for the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center. Thank you very much.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and hill start assist for confidence behind the wheel. Plus, auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
On behalf of the Secretary General and the all staff of the United Nations World Tourist Organization, I would like to thank you, Minister, and all of your team for the excellent cooperation and leadership to make this magnificent initiative real and tangible. The growing international awareness of the fast pace of climate change and biodiversity loss taking place in our planet, together with the impacts that such change are having on the natural environment, on humans and their livelihoods, have become evident. For tourists, climate change and biodiversity loss is not an abstract concept, but a phenomenon that already affects the sector and certain places, in particular mountain regions and coastal destinations. In a small island state and developing countries where tourism is a major economic activity, any significant reduction in tourist arrivals will have serious employment impacts and a decline in economic and social prosperity. Nevertheless, the Global Tourist Resilience and Crisis Management Center is indeed a formidable breakthrough in the tourism representing hope for the Caribbean, often hit by natural disasters. After today's milestone, we can definitely say that tourism is a step further from vulnerability. Once again, dear Minister, thank you and congratulations for this splendid initiative. Thank you very much.
The need for such a center is something that had been so obvious that it had been overlooked until somebody took the decision and made it happen. I am from Belize. Belize is in the Caribbean, Belize is Central American. Belize suffers from all of those disasters like all the rest of the Caribbean and Central America. And knowing that such a facility is being established in this region is something that I am very happy for myself and for the rest of the region. That the center is being opened just a short 14 months after the adoption of the Montego Bay Declaration is indeed a remarkable achievement and a testament to the arduous work and determination of the government of Jamaica and of Minister Bartlett. Travel and tourism, as everybody knows, contributes to more than 10% of world output and nearly 10% of employment worldwide. Over these last few days, I've also been learning some staggering figures about the importance of tourism. I always knew it was important, but the impact on the global economy is really, really eye-opening. The sector nevertheless remains vulnerable to threats, challenges, and disruptions of various sorts, perhaps overwhelmingly so to those related to climate change and natural disasters. The Organization of American States has long recognized with grave concern that the Latin American and Caribbean region represents one of the most vulnerable regions in the world due to the adverse impact of climate change. We also recognize that within this region, many small island developing and low-lying coastal states face severe threats to their survival and viability due to the effects of climate change and rising sea levels. For the OAS, the issue of resilience remains a critical one. The organization has played an integral role in supporting efforts to enhance resilience in the tourism sector in the Caribbean for many years. In the aftermath of the destructive 2017 hurricane season, and in the Caribbean, which saw destruction caused by Hurricane Maria in Dominica and Puerto Rico and Hurricane Irma on the island of Barbuda, the OAS at its headquarters in Washington, D.C., hosted a meeting with Caribbean leaders and with Sir Richard Branson, as well as several international institutions and private sector officials. This meeting sought to put together a broad-based, multi-sector coalition to mobilize private sector funding for climate change resilience initiatives in the region as the foundation for urgent action. Similarly, in November 2017, the OAS, in partnership with the George Washington University, organized a roundtable discussion on Caribbean tourism business recovery, solutions for a resilient future. The discussion aimed at identifying short and medium-term strategies to help the recovery of the tourism industry in those Caribbean countries most affected, and sought commitments from partners who can contribute to an initial assessment of the status of the accommodation sector and rebuilding of the tourism industry. The OAS has also collaborated with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency to produce the Multi-Hazard Contingency Planning Manual for the Caribbean tourism sector. The manual, which was originally prepared in 2008, remains an innovative disaster planning instrument, both in its design and in its content. Funded by the U.S. Department of State, it was prepared to assist the tourism sector in preparing for, responding to, and recovering from those natural or man-made catastrophic events that could severely impact the Caribbean's tourism sector's physical infrastructure, employees and customers, and business resiliency. We at the Organization of American States are already exploring opportunities for synergies between our own resilience project in the Caribbean and this center, and we look forward to supporting efforts to attract resources and identify the partnerships necessary to allow the center to effectively discharge its mandate. You can count with the continued commitment of the Organization of American States. Thank you very much.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. The GLC, more than meets the eye.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, delighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
The business community has suffered tremendously due to extortion. Some have not just lost their businesses, their jobs, but lost their lives. This is extremely impactful to the growth of our country and to the progress of our people. We are our brother's keeper. Let's put a stop to this. No more use of force. No more use of fear. No more extortion. No more.
Over the last several years, governments and societies have become increasingly aware of the need to mainstream resilience strategies in their everyday operations. Faced with a wide range of dynamic threats, the global economy has become far more volatile and increasingly uncertain. Consequently, policymakers across all economic sectors globally are facing unprecedented demands to ensure that strategies promoting resilience, mitigation, and adaptation are central to their agendas for achieving sustainable development. Of all major industries globally, arguably none faces greater exposure to disruptive forces than the hyper-connected tourism sector. The irony of the tourism industry, however, is that the tourism sector has also displayed this uncanny ability to recover quickly. So there is just something about tourism that is resilient. So it is the most exposed, but it has also demonstrated the greatest ability to recover. The most recent data provided by the UNWTO found that in 2018, the sector, that is the tourism sector, grew by 4.6%, and that was much faster than the global economy. For Jamaica, over the last 10 years, our data shows that our tourism industry grew by 36%. That's amazing. While the rest of the economy over the last 10 years, the overall economy grew by 6%. So tourism is the standout performer. In the last decade, Jamaica suffered terribly in the last global recession. Luckily, our financial sector did not suffer as badly as others, but the rest of our economy plummeted in 2009. In fact, the latest data is showing that we're just now recovering ground. Our economy has actually grown back to what it was in 2009 at the start of the recession. But tourism has just grown leaps and bounds since, and that reinforces the point. There can be all kinds of exogenous shocks to the economy, and many industries will take far longer to recover, but tourism has managed to recover very, very quickly. And so for policymakers, it is important that we study this phenomenon, we understand it, and we properly document it and assimilate it and mainstream it into our practice to ensure that whatever kind of disaster that may affect us, we can actually recover. So So I'm very interested in the work that is going to be done by the Resilience Center, not just for tourism, but more importantly, what lessons could other industries learn about the speed of recovery after disaster and building in redundancies and protocols to ensure that we have resilience and sustainability. Very, very important institution, and I'm very happy that we initiated and we have actually now executed, having the center being launched here today. At the heart of destination management is the notion of security. And in recent times, the issue of security has taken center stage. It's a delicate issue to manage. You can't say too much, but at the same time, you need to reassure the public about the safety of the destination. And the safety of the destination comes down to many threats: local crime, global terrorism, threat of war, pandemics, but one that is emerging in a serious way, which we have to pay attention to, in which many Caribbean countries may not be totally prepared, is that of cybersecurity. The cyberspace and the cyber frontier is one that we have to pay very close attention to, because the truth is that global travel is so much dependent on this whole business of the exchange of information. So the data of the traveling person is vitally important. And if that data is not protected or gets into the wrong hands or is stolen or used in nefarious ways, then you could virtually cripple the industry. Because it is not seen so much as a physical threat, sometimes governments underestimate. And certainly in the region, far more work needs to be done on the issue of the cyber security. And I'm pleased to report here that the government of Jamaica is taking this very seriously. We're taking the security of the country very seriously. We have developed Plan Secure Jamaica. And in this very city, you would have seen the impact of the decisions that the government has made in ensuring the security of our citizens and our visitors alike. There is no question that the entire tourism industry here in this city feels much safer than before. And the commendations that we have received and the encouragement that we have received is that we must find ways to continue improving the security, because this will improve the product. The other major threat which Jamaica pays close attention to is pandemics. And more, we're seeing how pandemics can have a significant effect on travel. Thankfully, the region has been spared major pandemics, but we're not taking it for granted. We are spending significant resources in ensuring that we are able to respond to pandemics, but more importantly, to prevent diseases and health threats from morphing into pandemics. Because the challenge with the pandemics, Minister, is not that people will get sick and therefore won't be able to function. The real challenge is people will just hear there is something in this region. It doesn't even have to be in this country. There is something in this region, and the region is avoided. So Jamaica's strategy is not just to ensure that Jamaica is safe, but to collaborate with all our countries through the PAHO and WHO to ensure that we play our part in strengthening the global network for a healthy region and a healthy world. So what's left for me to do is to, again, congratulate the Minister of Tourism and our friend Talib Rafai for envisioning this new institution. Again, to congratulate the University of the West Indies for accepting to host the institution. We are looking forward to the work that will be done, and we want to work closely with the University of the West Indies because we believe it will be beneficial for us to understand how the rest of government can benefit from the lessons that you will learn, the lessons you will inevitably teach us in ensuring that we are resilient and that we can manage crisis.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
The launch was very timely, and the establishment of the center is something which is long overdue. Many of the tourist destinations in the world are in environmentally vulnerable areas prone to natural disasters, and the hurricanes of the last couple of years in the Caribbean has emphasized the necessity for such a function that the center will undertake, not only to respond to crisis, but to be proactive in preventing crises which arise from terrorism and pandemics and other non-environmental threats. Well, the university will play a central role. First of all, we are housing the institution at the regional headquarters of the University of the West Indies. Secondly, it will draw on many of the strong aspects of the university's research and policy advice, such as health, security, climate change, sustainable development, economics, tourism, all of those. It's a partnership in which many countries, many organizations, many individuals are involved. Minister Edmund Bartlett was the person who initiated the idea, and the University of the West Indies, being a globally ranked university, was a natural place to put the center.
I'm Dr. Lloyd Waller. I'm the Senior Advisor to the Minister of Tourism and the Project Manager for this center, and one of the managers for the launch itself. The overall, my responsibility has been to identify the partners, deal with all the technical aspects of the project, all the policy aspects of the project, all the international relations and international negotiations, meeting with the the different stakeholders, ensuring that all the stakeholders are aware and are on board with all of the activities that we're doing. And also, as the person who actually works at the University of the West Indies, I've also been the person who has been the liaison between the University of the West Indies and the Ministry of Tourism as it relates to the establishment of the centre at the University of the West Indies. To be quite frank, this is something I used to do when I worked with the United Nations, so it hasn't been a challenge for me. I have been using the templates and the models that I've been using when I was at UN, so it has not been a problem in that particular instance. Everybody is happy, everybody is very interested in participating in this particular initiative, largely as a result of the thematic areas, one of which is digital transformation, climate resilience, climate management, cybercrime, cybersecurity, entrepreneurial development, epidemic and pandemic. So these are areas that are of critical importance to the development, product and tourism specifically, and therefore it wasn't difficult to convince persons to actually come and partner with us. As a matter of fact, many of the partners actually reached out to us to say that we want to be a part of this, given the fact that that no centre of this nature exists anywhere around the world, and there's a great demand for it.
Well, first of all, I think that the launch is, in fact, timeless, but the timeliness of it now is very, very appropriate, because we have just come out of what is our difficult weather season. And thank goodness we didn't come out too badly. But the season before that, as you know, the Caribbean suffered tremendously. We've lost an entire island in the process, and about 228% of the GDP of another, and perhaps 60% of the GDP of yet another. And the recovery process has been slow and tedious. We've also had situations where, for example, Haiti had a mega earthquake, as you recall, from which they still have not even started to recover. So what it says is that the center could not have been launched too soon. I really feel very humbled that Jamaica is leading the global discourse in terms of providing support and more so institutional capacity building for countries that have suffered from mega disruptions. But I think the focus that we wanted to put on is more the vulnerable small island states that lack resources. When the big countries like the United States have attacks, they recover and recover fast. When small countries like Haiti and poor countries like Haiti have disruptions, they never recover. If indeed they do, it is at snail's pace. So we have to work as assiduously as we can to bring capacity, to create resilience among those countries that are highly vulnerable, so that they can recover and recover quickly. And more importantly, as they keep saying, thrive, build better afterwards.
Today is a proud day for us in Jamaica as we launch the first ever Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center. We're excited to have all of you here today, and we want to say thanks to all the partners who have come together, providing resources and ideas and technical guidance to enable this center to be launched. The University of the West Indies in particular, we want to thank for providing the space, the physical space for the center, and also to provide a framework through which the center will operate. We want to say to all of you who are here, welcome to Jamaica. Thank you for participating, and we look forward to making a difference to the world, not just of tourism, but the world of resilience building for the benefit of all. But tourism has the potential not just to transform communities in the way that we have seen, physical transformation, where small, sleepy fishing villages have now become bustling centers of commerce and enormous economic activity. And the people who are most important in enabling this are the ordinary Jamaicans who live in these communities and villages.
The Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center will transform the way in which governments, international organizations, and destinations manage disruptions through the use of our innovative tools, techniques, and strategies.
How do we build capacity to enable them to supply on what the demands of tourism are? Because when the visitor comes to Jamaica, he or she comes to enjoy the cultural assets of Jamaica.
The Caribbean is a rich biodiversity hotspot. It has over 11,000 plant species, and about 72 of these are found only in this region. This richness also extends to the Caribbean people. Their traditional knowledge of the region's varied natural resources has integrated nature into the economic and health sectors worldwide. It has also drawn many to research and use the region's biodiversity for medicinal, cosmetic, and pharmaceutical purposes. For example, the glaucoma medication Canasol is made from cannabis. However, Caribbean islands have fallen prey to biopiracy, where a country's resources are accessed and developed commercially, but the country gets little or no benefit from it. As the world benefits from the Caribbean's biodiversity, countries need to be compensated for their commercial use. Lawmakers need to ensure that their countries are legally prepared to give access to and benefits from commercial use of genetic resources. To ensure prior informed consent and mutually agreed terms of access established by the Nagoya Protocol, the Global Environment Facility, GEF, United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, and the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN, are jointly providing support to countries at different levels in order to advance towards functional access and benefit sharing. Under the Nagoya Protocol, countries from which natural resources are obtained for commercial developments are entitled to compensation. It also ensures indigenous knowledge from groups such as the Maroons, Rastafarians, and Amerindians can be credited and compensated if their traditional knowledge has been used for commercial purposes. Caribbean islands are putting the Nagoya Protocol in their legislative framework to safeguard their country's biodiversity and traditional knowledge. Let us all work together to protect our resources, do valuable research, and reap the benefits of sustainable bioprospecting in the region.
This week on Wealth Magazine Business Access, we sit with Ricky Mahfood, Executive Chairman at Hawkeye Electronics and Security Limited. On this episode, Mahfood explains how his upbringing has impacted him as a leader and why he is so passionate about keeping commitments.
Your word is your bond, and that has been something that has driven me. If you make a commitment, honor it.
Ricky Mafood also tells us how Hawkeye continues to revolutionize the security industry and what's next for this Jamaican company.
I'm Ricky Mafood. I'm the Executive Chairman of Hawkeye Electronic Security Limited. Ricky Mafood is a family man, someone who is passionate about his wife and his children, and passionate about his Lord and serving him. I can be intense at times and focused when I need something done and done properly. And maybe some people may see me as a, type A personality, very driven and so on. And I guess in a way that I am driven by what is important to me and what I believe I am called to do. So that's probably a little of who I am. I was born in Kingston in 1958. Growing up in Kingston brings back very fond memories for me. A lot of our cousins lived relatively close to us, and on the weekends we would be together playing football, riding around the neighborhood, and as we grew older, riding motorcycles and so on. So I have really good memories of those days. I attended Surbiton Prep, and then from there went to Ligonier Prep and on to Wolmer's Boys School. I entered Wolmer's in 1971, and in 72, you may not remember, but Wolmer's won the Manning Cup, the Olivia Shield, and the Walker Cup. So those are memories that are ingrained in me, can't forget that. I left Wolmer's at the end of fourth form at 74, and our family migrated to Miami, where I completed high school and then went on and did some years in college. Leaving Jamaica and going to school in Miami was definitely an eye-opener. Because I was going to an all-boys school. Now I'm in a school with girls, no uniforms, and so on. So it was a totally different type of scenario. Fortunately, there were some Jamaicans there, and we connected with, and that kind of brought a level of stability to us. One of the things that we were not going to lose there was our identity. So during our years in Miami, we never lost our accent, and whereas rather being influenced by the people and the culture, we were the ones that were influencing those that were around us, and they started to talk like us. So while it was a shock for us in one way, it was a good learning experience for the time we were there. After leaving high school in Miami, I attended a junior college in Miami for 2 years and graduated with a degree in what's called architectural technology. I then went on to University of Florida, but kind of lost my focus on my passion for what I was doing. And after about a year and a half, I decided to just head back to Miami and start working. I did some time in sales. I did a couple of years in the restaurant business, managing an Italian restaurant and so on. And it was around that time, in '81, when I decided that it was time to come home. Working in sales, for anybody that has, it's very challenging. Sometimes it is disappointing, but I found that in the disappointment is when I would kind of get challenged to do better and to strive and to excel. So it was a good time of learning for me, yes, interacting with customers, and learning to do business, in terms of being punctual, delivering on what you promise, and so on. And in a North American market, those things are crucial. You turn up late and you're out the door. You don't deliver on time, and maybe the next order doesn't come your way. So yes, there were valuable lessons learned there, and I think those things kind of helped shape me along the way. Coming back to Jamaica in 1981, I was a young man, about 23 years old, and not quite sure what I was going to do. So I kind of tagged along with what my father was doing and worked with him, both my brother and myself. And he did a development on Shortwood Road called Woodlands. We worked with him there, and from there he did another development on Millsboro Avenue called the Pines. And again, I was there as his right hand. From there, about 1986, I branched out with my brother, and we ventured into the world of security. In 1985, beginning Ranger Security, and then in 88, stepping into the electronic security field and opening Hawkeye Electronic Security. One of the biggest challenges for me would be when you lose a member of staff in the line of duty.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point, dissecting the issues. Offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
As a teacher for over 8 years, we need to realize that the children are our future. We need to love them, appreciate and respect our children. No more violence against children. No more!
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Setting up Hawkeye was challenging in a number of ways. Primarily because it was a security company, you're dealing with firearms and getting permits and licenses and so on. Along with that, you're now beginning a service-related business where you're employing people and you're running a 24-hour operation. So it was a learning experience, and the learning curve for me took a little while. But once we started, going and things kind of leveled out, probably around 6 months down the road, we had a big challenge, and that was Hurricane Gilbert in September of that year, which really was something I never really even thought of happening. And with that, it caused us to have to dig deep, because when you have a natural disaster like that, people are looking for the security to be there anyway. And to be honest with you, we had a group of men back then that were amazing. They slept at the office, ate bully beef and bread, morning, noon, and night. And we did our patrols and location checks and so forth. And amazingly, none of our customers lost anything during that time with Gilbert, where there was several months where things were in shambles. For us to survive during that time, and I think coming out of that, our customers began to speak about us, and word of mouth and what have you, and the company just began to grow, And in 89 and 90, 91, going forward, the company just continued to grow and strive. So yes, it was a definitely defining moment, I believe. I would say, one of the biggest challenges for me would be when you lose a member of staff in the line of duty. Very difficult time for me, because they're part of your family, somebody you work amongst, and it's hard, very hard to deal with. But at the end of the day, you realize that it's a part of the job that we do, and you just have to kind of deal with it and move on as best as you can and offer support to those around you and to the family and so forth. When I look at where we are today, 2016, it's humbling for me, and I give God thanks very often, because as I reflect back to those early days where we had maybe initially 5 employees, and I think we started with 13 customers, to where we are today with, within the guarding side of the business and the electronics, we have about 1,800 people working with us, and we're securing over 10,000 customers. So it is a humbling thing for me, and it also is something that causes me to just reflect on the persons that are part of our team, because it's not about me. It's really about the people that are on the team with me, that do the groundwork and the support and so on, and that deliver the service. And so a big thank you goes to those that are with us, those who have been with us, and help us along the way. Security is a big issue and affects everybody. And I believe, the whole electronic security business has brought a level of affordability to the marketplace, which benefits everybody. So today, somebody moving into a home, a security system is part of what they would think of having, just as they would think of having cable TV, telephone service, and what have you. Security is a part of that thought process. And because of the affordability of it, you find more and more people now are opting for that and signing up to get a system installed, to get even a security system for their vehicle and what have you. So it's definitely a growing business. I think moving the company to the next level is remaining on the forefront of the available technology. From the very beginning, that was one of the things that I had my eyes on. What is out there, whether it's from Europe, North America, Asia, we must be able to offer that to our customers here. And it's something that we continue to do. We identify products and we test them, we bring them in here in our market, and when we see something that we think will work, then we introduce it to the marketplace and what have you. Going forward, it would be much of the same, because the whole technology industry is changing. Things are just going at such a dramatic pace, where you can view cameras at your home on your smartphone. I mean, a few years ago that was not possible. So it's just keeping our fingers on the pulse of what's happening in the world of security and bringing to market those products that would fit in here with our culture, and providing the back-end support, whether it's armed response, the technical support and expertise, and so on, to give our customers what they are looking for. I think the best piece of advice would be something my father taught me many years ago growing up. And it is a quote that said, "Your word is your bond." And that has been something that has stayed with me and has driven me. Do what you say. If you make a commitment, honor it.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV. Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
What drives me is a desire to deliver service to our customers, to come up with the systems that we think will better protect them, developing security solutions. That's one of the things we do at Hawkeye. It's not a matter of just providing A, B, or C, but it's looking at what a customer needs and developing a solution that is going to meet their needs and be an affordable option for them. So that, as I said before, and just having a desire to serve and to deliver service to our customers, that is really something that drives me and pushes me every day. I think the best piece of advice would be something my father taught me many years ago growing up. And it is a quote that said, "Your word is your bond." And that has been something that has stayed with me and has driven me. It's do what you say. If you make a commitment, honor it. And going a step beyond that, as a Christian, honesty and integrity are very important for me. And it's something that I share across the board at the company, that we must always be forthright with our customers, being honest, and open, and so forth. And so being a person of integrity and delivering on what I say is very important. Some of the things that we do at Hawkeye, throughout the years, we support different organizations, different charities, different homes, children homes, and so forth. And we believe this is an important part of who we are as a company in terms of giving back to the community and to the wider society. It's something we enjoy doing. When I am able to kind of wind down a bit, I enjoy my family. One of my favorite times is when we gather around the table to have dinner. I have 5 kids, so 7 of us are on the table, and it's just a wonderful feeling to just look at your children around you growing up and so on. I enjoy cooking. So sometimes when I get home from work, cooking helps relieve some of the stress. And so I'll go in the kitchen and prepare something. And I also enjoy cycling. I cycle with a group of guys and girls about 3 times a week. And again, that's a really good stress reliever and a time of just social interaction and, excellent exercise. My wife, Sandra, is a wonderful lady. First of all, to cope with me, because I'm not easy to be around sometimes. But she is a great wife and a great mother to our kids. We have 5 of them: Samantha, 12, Jessica, 13, Stephen, 16, Sarah, 17, and Matthew, 20. And they're wonderful children. You know, you have the usual challenges as they grow through the teenage years and what have you. So we're learning. You know, parenting is something you learn as you go along. And, you know, as Christians, the Word of God is central in our home. And we share that with them, and we try and guide them accordingly so that their lives can be shaped by certain values and which we believe are important for them. When you ask about wealth, what wealth means, you know, at one point I would say, you know, the typical question, the typical answer, you know, financial security. But more and more I have come to the place where wealth to me at the core is having a right relationship with God. Because everything else is meaningless if that isn't in place. So you can have financial success, you can have good health and so on, but if that relationship with God is not there, then those things are not going to add up. So to me, that would be what I would put as being wealthy, being in a right relationship with God through Jesus Christ, His Son.
I wanted to be an educator because I believe that education is the most powerful weapon that can change the world.
My dreams and aspiration is to one day become an entrepreneur where I can employ other persons and help to build the country.
I wanted to go into development. I wanted to help people become better versions of themselves. Growing up, I saw a lot of violence, I saw a lot of crime, I saw a lot of poverty. The challenges are so many. The first one that comes to mind is the level of youth unemployment that's here.
Challenges that exist here in West Prospect Bogwalk are lack of awareness for educational opportunities or job opportunities.
Not many got a chance to do CXC or graduate from the secondary level. So that's a major setback for the people living in the community.
A way to alleviate this issue is training programs.
They need more opportunities, like to go back to school to get themselves a certificate so they can be able to work and create employment for themselves and their family.
Push more entrepreneurship opportunity, encourage these youths to be creative and innovative in what they do. Give them startup capital to start their business. Invest more in the youth skills and talents.
The Poverty Reduction Program is funded by the European Union, and it really is a program that focuses on the most vulnerable type of communities, making communities safer, making citizens more healthy, better access to education.
For European Union, investing in youth is an obvious choice. They are the future of the country. If we prepare them well, they will bring the change that Jamaica needs. That's why we invest in scholarships, internship, training in life skills and mentorship.
I received a tertiary scholarship from PRP to attend the University of Technology, Jamaica. It meant a lot to me because I realized that somebody else believed in me and somebody saw the potential that I have and somebody believed that I could actually achieve my goal.
I benefited by getting firstly an internship, and also they assisted my bachelor's degree financially. But critically, outside of the finances, the persons that were on the project, you know, the motivation that they provided, etc., it really provided a huge boost.
This is my third year at the MICO. This scholarship, it helped me to be able to focus only on my education here, because tertiary education is not cheap.
I was placed at ODPEM on the one-year internship program. It was really good. It was an opportunity for me to prove myself, to give myself a service, and also to gain experience in the working world, and to also provide for my family.
I plan to be an agent of change in my community by being a mentor, a leader, and a godfather for the youths growing up. Try to help them teach them a trade.
You don't have to be rich to help. You don't have to achieve greatness to start. I contributed to my basic school by providing them with the necessary resources that they need, that I believe that in the long run, it will have a ripple effect on many, many persons.
Professionally, I manage the HOPE program, which is aimed at giving young persons the opportunity to, do what I did, basically, to get their foot inside an organization. Additionally, I also have a little small business that I try to employ young persons to learn a skill, etc.
When you're persistent in life, when you're determined, when you're hungry for success, then you'll be able to accomplish and achieve anything that you want.
It has changed hundreds and hundreds of lives. Not just my life, my family lives, my friends' lives, etc. I want to just urge everyone looking on to continue these social programs. These are the solutions to the many ills that we face as a society and as a country and even as a world. So thank you, and I challenge you, continue it. It's needed.
The Caribbean is a rich biodiversity hotspot. It has over 11,000 plant species, and about 72 of these are found only in this region. This richness also extends to the Caribbean people. Their traditional knowledge of the region's varied natural resources has integrated nature into the economic and health sectors worldwide. It has also drawn many to research and use the region's biodiversity for medicinal, cosmetic, and pharmaceutical purposes. For example, the glaucoma medication Canosol is made from cannabis. However, Caribbean islands have fallen prey to biopiracy, where a country's resources are accessed and developed commercially, but the country gets little or no benefit from it. As the world benefits from the Caribbean's biodiversity, countries need to be compensated for their commercial use. Lawmakers need to ensure that their countries are legally prepared to give access to and benefits from commercial use of genetic resources. To ensure prior informed consent and mutually agreed terms of access established by the Nagoya Protocol, the Global Environment Facility, GEF, United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, and the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN, are jointly providing support to countries at different levels in order to advance towards functional access and benefit sharing. Under the Nagoya Protocol, countries from which natural resources are obtained for commercial developments are entitled to compensation. It also ensures indigenous knowledge from groups such as the Maroons, Rastafarians, and Amerindians can be credited and compensated if their traditional knowledge has been used for commercial purposes. Caribbean islands are putting the Nagoya Protocol in their legislative framework to safeguard their country's biodiversity and traditional knowledge. Let us all work together to protect our resources, do valuable research, and reap the benefits of sustainable bioprospecting in the region.
My name is Christelle Harris. You're watching Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Flow Foundation, formerly known as the Lime Foundation, which is the philanthropic arm of telecoms provider Flow, is continuing its tradition of providing support in different areas of society with the focus of connecting communities and transforming lives, where people can work, play, and communicate.
Foundation was established in 2003, and the simple reason for it, we have always given back, but we wanted to have a more structured way of doing it. I headed the public relations function at that particular time, and our philanthropy came through, our philanthropic activities came through the public relations department, but then other departments used to do their own, and we thought it would make sense to just have a structure, and so the foundation was put in place. The foundation seeks to assist Jamaican young people to improve their education. We happen to be in a position where we can help with e-education, meaning giving them access to stuff online, opening up the vistas of the internet to them. And so at the foundation, our primary mandate is about the proliferation of free internet access to all primary schools, and I mean all who asks or ask. Anywhere we have facilities, any primary school that asks us for internet access, they get it, and they get it for free. Currently we have about 400 schools that we give. We also have an emphasis around literacy and reading, and with that we work through the Jamaica Library Service. But it's just all together. Education, education, education for young people. Well, I think it should just be almost like reflex, that you give back if you're making money in the society. I think every company that, let me put it this way, every company that makes a profit should give back some into the society. They can choose the way they want to do it. They can link up with other entities and see if together they can make a bigger difference than they by themselves.
The pen relays for the Flow Foundation, according to Mr. Miller, is the biggest single-ticket item in terms of funding for the foundation.
Look, pen relays provides an international stage for young Jamaicans, obviously very talented because all of them have done well for their schools. A lot of them do well academically. We don't see all of that being put out necessarily in the media, right? But we are about their athletic prowess. Now, we want to give them a platform on which they can showcase their talents. There are hundreds of scouts, especially when they hear Jamaicans are coming, who are at the pen relays every year. And you never can tell, that might be the avenue they use to pick up a scholarship, pick up an endorsement, and maybe a brand new future. You know, probably could be the key to the future for some of them. As you know, a lot of the athletes, the student athletes we have, consistently get scholarships every year. And Penn is one of the avenues, and it's as simple as that. First of all, we believe we should support Jamaican youth, as we said. And secondly, we should give them a leg up in things like pen relays, let them go out and showcase it, and let people see them and say, hey, let's go talk to that youngster, whether it's a girl or a boy, and who knows, it could be off to new things and new territories for them. The vision for the foundation is about continuing to help as many young Jamaicans as we can, to draw as many more as we can into the net in terms of helping them on the way as far as education is concerned, because no matter what anybody says, it is the only way out of some of the circumstances that a lot of our young people find themselves in. BizTown is Project Jamaica Junior Achievement, right? And we were really attracted to it. My boss was approached. He was very positive, but he asked me to give him my opinion, and there was no hesitation because a lot of people know BizTown, where they set up a sort of mock city, a mock town, and there are companies in there, JPS, there's Flow, there are several others. And what it does is teach the kids in a real way what actually happens in business. So they learn that they have to work to get paid, and they do get paid, albeit in funny money, right? They learn how to spend that money buying commodities that are offered by the other companies in there. They learn how to transact business, they learn how to fill out checks, they learn how to fill out forms that companies use. So you're giving them an early introduction to some of the things they never used to have. And even if they have it, this is a more practical way of doing it. So these kids, you start to talk to them about getting into business, getting a job, and maybe even entrepreneurial thoughts are going through their heads. So that's, in a nutshell, basically why we couldn't not support this project.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV, prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
As part of its continued mandate, they sponsored a one-week summer camp for children at Jamaica BizTown.
Flow is the major sponsor of the Biz Camp this year, so it's Flow Biz Camp. We're very happy to be on board. We're so delighted that we're able to facilitate this experience for you. We're happy that through Mr. Robinson, we're able to get this opportunity to again transform lives, again make a difference.
The Flow Biz Camp, which is a one-week camp catering to children in the surrounding communities. Most of them are aged 10 to 13.
And it's an opportunity to expose them to business, how to run a business, how to operate a business, how to manage cash, how to manage responsibility. And many of the things that they learn here during the week are not normally taught in the traditional school curriculum. So we felt it would be an important lesson for them, not just for school, but for life and for their own personal development. Earlier in the summer, we had in about 9 communities, we had a 2-week summer camp, and in fact we took 10 students from each of those camps, and they are now here for the 1-week period. The summer is always a long period. Sometimes the parents can't afford to send the kids to summer camp, so we organize activities which allow the kids to be involved in some organized activity, something that they'll learn from, something which will help them for the upcoming school year, and something which ultimately will assist in their personal development and growth.
BizTown is a experience for our grade 5 students. Understanding why they go to school. I mean, they go to school every single day and they learn, and then it's years before they actually get to experience putting that learning into place. And so with BizTown, they actually get to see that, and it motivates them to see what their future will be like, making sure that work is a part of it, and seeing themselves as leaders and working throughout the system, right? So whether as a guard, whether managing guardsmen, working at the bank as a teller, or being the CFO, all these companies, JPS. What I like too is that it's a mix of careers. So you have the technical skills, and so like I mentioned, JPS, they get to understand there's an engineer that works there, head of power plant, meter reader, GB Energy, same thing. And so each of these different jobs, CB, it's not just about the food, it's about how you work with people. It's about rearing chickens and the different, so they understand more than just maybe what they see at the cash or the checkout counter, and understand how much work is involved in working. So as parent, I'm a parent of 2 boys, and for them to experience what I have to go through every day will allow them to say, okay, Mommy, you work hard. I understand now, and I understand money is not, it doesn't go on until infinity. It does have an end point, and so I have to balance and I have to budget better. And so these are the experiences that at age 10, they're learning. Imagine what they're going to be after. Our mantra and our mission is really to empower our Jamaican youth. So there's a lot of work to get done. We always look for partners to help us to expand the work. BizTown is for primary school, but we have a high school program that's expanding nationally as well. All grade 9 students are supposed to be doing entrepreneurship, and it's like this. It's not a facility, but it's hands-on. It's not just learning the theories of entrepreneurship, but they have to run a business. And so we'll be there guiding each of our 160 plus high schools around the country, working with the private sector as volunteers, working with entities and the Ministry of Education to make sure that our students understand what it is to not just come up with an idea, but to transform it into a business and then run the business. The ebbs and flows, the challenges. We've had students that sometimes they're in HR and they have to fire another student because they're not living up to the company standard. It's not just a friend and friend thing, but they're learning that in high school. And one of the biggest complaints I hear from the private sector is that sometimes they don't feel the students are prepared for the working world. But these structures like a BizTown, like a JACE program, help us to prepare our students. So arm in arm with the ministry, we're changing the school system, and we're very excited to be a part of that. Flow has been a staple in BizTown, so they're one of our founding storefront owners. Matter of fact, all of these companies are. But Flow also partnered with the local community through a partnership with Julian Robinson, and said, you're doing great work throughout the year, and they're already supporting that. But during the summertime, especially in August, there are not a lot of summer programs. And so it gives an opportunity to get into trouble. But they thought it'd be great for them to come back and learn some more in a fun way and get ready for school.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
The Jamaica Biz Town is operated by a mayor who ensures that the town operates smoothly and its people taken care of.
It has been very interesting. I've been very busy because, as you can see, I have the heaviest file out of everybody else. And I have to be walking around, making sure all the business are going smoothly and according to plan. I know how Angela Brownberg feels now because it's very, very hard, but she always has a smile on her face. I don't know how she do it because it's a lot of work, a lot of hard work, and I've never thought of working with the government, but I like it. I would do it as a full-time job.
My name is Dina K. Johnson, and I am the CFO of the Jabez Town TV. I am the Chief Financial Officer, which is what CFO means. I write the checks, I give the paychecks, I deal with the bills, write the utility bills and all the bills that needs to be paid. My day is pretty hectic because every minute someone from a company comes to me and says, you need to pay this for the bills, you need to pay this for the bills. And the amount of bills I've signed, I'm surprised that I haven't given away the company yet. Because we don't have everybody, I have to be being the meteorologist, and me and the CEO have to be being the TV anchor. Yes, we have to be doing all those stuff. We have to be writing up things for kids, even when we're not supposed to do that. We're still doing it because guess what? We all work together as a team. I want to say thank you to Flo because if it wasn't for them, I don't think we would have this.
My name is Onika Brown and I am the CEO of First Global Bank. I am the person that is ensuring that everything runs smoothly, the customers are well serviced and everything runs smoothly, and I'm the person that ensures that the bank sellers are doing their job. I understand what the CEO of a bank is going through, and I would think I would recommend this job for myself because I can't take the pressure and it's just too much, but I like the experience and I think I'll probably recommend it to other persons.
I'd like you to put your hands together and to thank Flo for sponsoring this camp, because without Flo's sponsorship, we would not have a camp. They actually did it last year and they are back again this year, and we hope for many more years to come. The purpose of this camp is really to provide some exposure to you in areas of business, to understand a little bit more about business, how to run businesses, to understand a little bit about banking, because many of these things are not taught in the traditional school curriculum. So we hope you were able to take lessons away from it, lessons that you can use in your everyday life.
I'm really glad to hear that you've enjoyed, that you've learned. And as Mr. Robinson said before I spoke, you have got some skills now that will help you in ordinary things in your life. It don't mean that you're going to leave here right now and to become an accountant or you're going to be a top executive at Flo, but you got an idea of what goes on in the business world. So I just implore you to just build on what you've learned, even think about it when you go home, maybe practice some of the things that you can make up your own checks, for example. Write them up, show your mother and father if they don't know how to, and just keep building on that as you go through school.
At the end of FlowBiz Camp, certificates and gift vouchers were awarded to all who participated.
It has been an honor to serve as your mayor today. You all have been great citizens. For the past several weeks at school, we have learned about J.A. Bistown and what it takes to work in a business and a consumer. When I imagined J.A. Bistown, I thought it would be a lot of work, really fun, very busy, and kind of confusing. J.A. Bistown is much bigger than I expected, very cool, tons of fun, very educational, hard work. It takes teamwork, being organized, following rules, good manners. Thank you again to our teachers, volunteers, J.A. Bistown staff, and all the companies that make Bistown possible and a success.
I want to say thanks to Flo for giving me this experience. It was a very fun experience and I would like to come back next year.
It was very good, because I met a lot of new people, because I don't know anybody at the camp really. And I met a lot of new people and it was fun. I learned a lot of stuff about checks and writing up checks, about the bank, and because in the future I wanted to be a bank teller, and I did learn a lot about that, and it was good. And today was even better because I was pretending to be a CEO, and I was going to get to dress up like a CEO and pretend and do the jobs and responsibilities that CEO would do. And I won Citizen of the Day award.
My experience was nice. It was kind of fun. Yeah, when I came on Monday, I didn't really know anybody, and I was hoping to make new friends, which I did. And I learned a lot how the different paying methods, how to write checks and bank deposits. And today was very, very fun. I appreciate that Flow and Junior Achievement sponsored this camp to make it a possibility.
I would like to say thanks to Flow for putting on this business camp for us, because I've learned a lot since I've been here. I've learned about banking, being responsible. They're preparing us for the future, because it's not easy being out there as an adult. And I don't think we as children know that, but I found out today, because I always thought, whoa, growing up, having my own house, and I always have money to spend, but it's not like that. And yes, I thank them again. It's a great experience. Thank you, Flo.
Thank you, Junior Achievement. Thank you, Flo, for this great experience.
We live here, we work here, we make our money here, and we have an obligation to put back money into the society. Simple as that.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 150 will actually transpire and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people.
The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
Why we're doing this rigorous process? Because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that applicants are committed, and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIP, that in 2-3 years, the enterprises will still be operational and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start their production line going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected, and then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional support to move that business to the other level, as well as some persons that come in with those proposals to start from scratch. On behalf of the JSIF, we want to really thank the DBJ and other partners from UWI who came to be part of the panel, and just to remind you that the JSIF is here and we're investing for community development.
I do have a dream, and I know you have a dream, that we can make Jamaica the place of choice for you to choose to live, to work, to do business.
We are going for the Jamaica we want. Making steady progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in our National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica. We have teamed up with valued partners, working through strong institutions to reduce inequalities in our society. We commit to being responsible in our production and consumption, ensuring we build sustainable communities in harmony with nature. Jamaica is making significant strides in providing quality, lifelong education for all, enabling our people to be engaged in decent work to drive economic growth, equipping men and women with the skills to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industry, foster innovation, and utilize new technologies. Urgent action is being taken to manage natural resources responsibly, protecting clean water sources, ensuring access to water and sanitation for all, diversifying to alternative energy sources, conserving our environment and sustaining life below water and on land. Jamaica is making moves to ensure healthy lifestyles for the well-being of our people. We're promoting sustainable agriculture to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and end extreme hunger, putting in the work to end poverty in all its forms. We're on track in achieving our Sustainable Development Goals through realizing our Vision 2030 Jamaica. We will leave no one behind.
And I'm chilling right now, 'cause we're winning right now.